Our next guest is a legendary and influential Canadian. I'm sorry, that should be comedian.
Yeah.
He can now be seen in the television series entitled The Mysteries of Laura, Wednesday nights on NBC. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Robert Klein.
I mean, you know, like, go.
Just have a seat, will you? Boy, I'm telling you, Robert, you look fantastic. I don't know how long it's been since I've seen you, but you look great. You must be feeling good. Things are going well.
Not really. No, things are going. I do fewer personal appearances, maybe 30 a year. I'm doing a lot of
30 a year is
television.
quite a lot.
Yeah, I used to do 100 or so.
Oh, is that right?
You know, this is my 40th time on the David Letterman show. You may not remember, but Dave had a morning show.
Had a morning show, that's right.
And, you get a mug?
That's it. It's all yours, Bob.
What are your notes here? I'm a geezer and accepting it. It's no problem.
I mean, you're the guy. You're the reason comedy went from sort of silly, evolving out of vaudevillian to hip, observational, and current. You're the man. We can trace it exactly right back to you.
Wow. Well, that's, very kind. I feel like it was almost like yesterday. It'll be, next March, it'll be 50 years that Fred Willard and I were hired at Second City together, where the career actually started.
Yeah,
and now I'm bombarded by the beautiful lady for Viagra, who looks at me and says, "You with your sweetie?"
Yeah.
And of course, any erections lasting more than 4 hours, you should seek medical attention. What solar system are these people living in? If I had an erection lasted more than 4 hours, I wouldn't necessarily seek medical attention. I most probably would seek a witness.
Yeah. Like the old joke, I'm telling everybody.
With a notary. I don't want any, prove it, We're from Ernst & Dean, Mr. Klein correction. But that is American, first of all, it's $40 a pop. I hope you realize that. So even sex is expensive. You become a John if you have to pay for it. It was tested as a heart drug, which is interesting.
The Viagra.
Yes, and they knew it opened arteries somewhere. They were only off by about 1.5 feet. They aimed for the heart and got the schmeckle, which happens so much in life. But it was unfortunate because after a year, you had these 1,000 people going around with angina pains and the erections of their lives, like all dressed up and nowhere to go. And then there was the placebo group, which is most unfortunate. They're the people we'd like to tell you now after you got M&Ms as your treatment. Good luck in your diabetes therapy, But I work is life, and when you leave the show, I can imagine you doing all kinds of things. I know that I'm certainly not getting a condo in Florida right away.
A guy like you will never retire. Now, did your parents reach an age where they retired?
They did, and I think You know, my father was so busy and he stopped working at 65. I have a little beef with South Florida. I sent two healthy, vibrant 65-year-old retired parents to South Florida. 30 years later, they were dead. I mean, wow. I don't know what's going on down there.
What is going on down there?
It could be chemicals.
Check the water, for God's sake.
Check the shuffleboard court for
30 years later.
No, they live an organized life, and especially men who are busy, the old-fashioned where maybe the women stayed at home and they can't get used to it, so they're in the Publix in Florida, be shopping for groceries, and they flip out. You know, like, I don't want the Crasdale peaches, I want the other peaches. You know. Hello, 911. Crack up, canned goods. Bring a Valium, you know. My parents moved to a place, they were apartment dwellers all those years in Decatur Avenue in the Bronx, and then they became homeowners. The quaint little name of their street, I'll never forget, Section 21. And
It's like a state hospital, for
that's what
God's
it is.
sakes.
Well, they were little, you know, like colonies of sections. They had a clubhouse and a pool. So I went down to visit Grandma when Allie was 9 years old.
Is your son?
Allie's 31. He's backstage there. He grew up. You know what happens.
What's he doing now?
Well, he's been working in Bobby Kennedy's organization all these years, a water keeper.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, doing the nonprofit, keeping the water clean. I took him down. He was 9 years old. It's August in Tamarack, Florida. It's about 116 degrees, and I'm heading for the Section 21 pool. And I see something I hadn't seen in 50 years. It was like a vision of a 50s movie. I saw bathing caps. When's the last time you saw one? Cream-colored ones and pink ones and blue ones. And I thought it was an Esther Williams movie from 1948, you know, with Jimmy Durante. You got a big grade at that applique. So my kid,
The applique.
people know who did it. So the kid takes off his slippers, about to go in. The guy says, I'm sorry, you can't go in the pool till you're 55. It's hard, you know, it seems unreal. Well, Mr. Klein, you know, you change a rule for one, you change it for all. He says, come on, let him. It's always, look, Mr. Klein, I had a very unhappy 54-year-old man here yesterday arguing. He can go in April. I said, why do you keep eating? And he gives me a big Monty Python nudge, nudge, wink. He says, well, the kids, you know, they pee in the pool.
Oh.
This from a community whose entire population is incontinent. Everyone pees in the pool, they say. No one doesn't pee in the pool, they say. Whether it's leakage, that's what chlorine is for, or there's always a sociopath in every community who is purposely peeing as he's coveting your wife. You know? God. You know, in the old pool in the 30s, in city pools, I was told they used to put this invisible stuff in, so if someone pissed, there was an explosion of purple, like a Jackson Pollock painting, you know. And they'd know the source of it, you know, the purple is coming out of the guy. No, that's not for me.
No, that's not for anyone, really.
No, I do plan to climb Everest, like every other middle-aged schmuck with money seems to be.
Really? You have interest in mountain climbing?
Well, I don't know. You know, there's a British actor that was overweight and 65 years old, and he decided to climb Everest. I won't mention that. 15 years ago, 29,500 feet. So they got the Sherpas and they got everything. They had to be rescued at 1,100 feet. That's like climbing the Poconos. You know,
They're still in the gift shop.
trekking through the wilderness with a bellhop from the Mount Airy Lodge. You know, hey, what do you want to do now? That's my bucket list, climbing Everest. When they have an escalator on the North Face, I'll definitely.
You can see Mr. Klein on The Mysteries of Laura, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on NBC. Always a pleasure. Happy New Year to you, sir. Robert Klein, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back.